YouTube, what is up? Right now we are going to talk about the new game that Pokemon just announced, Pokemon Unite. I'm just going to go ahead and talk about the game, give my thoughts on the presentation and kind of my opinion of how it all went. And in a second I'll press play on the video and I'll let the video from the Pokemon Presents play in the background so that way you can kind of see some of the gameplay and get an idea of what I am talking about. So with that, I'm going to hit play and we'll start talking about it. So Pokemon just announced a game called Pokemon Unite, and it's a multiplayer online battle arena. So it is a game, as you can see with some of the gameplay, where you're going to be able to play as a Pokemon with other players against another team with the goal of scoring as many points as possible. Now obviously this was not what everybody was expecting. Most people were expecting a new Let's Go Pokemon game, specifically in the Johto region, is what I think everybody on the internet was thinking, or maybe a remake of one of the other games. For me personally, I do think that this is a very interesting move by Pokemon. I don't love it necessarily. I don't hate it either. I do think that it is nice that they are stepping out of their comfort zone and they're not using the same cookie cutter storyline that they've used for 20 years, right? You pick your starters, you go through the gyms, the 8 gyms, and then you face the Pokemon League, and then you've beat the game, essentially. I mean, at a high level. I do think this is pretty cool that they're stepping into a new genre. Now, are they late to this genre? Yeah, probably. But Pokemon has so many fans worldwide. This actually could bring some fans back that no longer play the core Pokemon games because it's been the same game for 20 years. This could bring them back into the Pokemon world and really start playing this, within the Pokemon world again, which, obviously Nintendo and the Pokemon Company want to happen. I mean, I think Pokemon Go did that. So that was a different game type that I think has done very well and is still very popular. One thing that is very exciting to me is that, A, you get to play as Pokemon in a battle arena, which is pretty cool. And you actually get to play online with other players. So for me, that's very exciting because as much as I do love to play the core Pokemon games, they're pretty much all solo. You really don't have to play with anybody else. I mean, in the new Sword and Shield, you do get to play with other players, in raid battles, but even those are, it doesn't feel like you're playing with another person really because it's still the turn-based attacking, and you could have a computer AI essentially accomplish the same thing that other players do. So I do think that this is interesting, that it's truly online, and the replayability is theoretically endless because it's, each match lasts however long a match lasts. It looks like a couple minutes just kind of based on what you're seeing on the screen now. But, this is a game that should have replayability and should be able to, grow as they decide. And I'm assuming they'll bring in more Pokemon. I think we just saw a quick screenshot, or not a screenshot, but a video clip of, it looked like the Pokemon selection process, and it looked like, there were, 10, 15 potential Pokemon that you might be able to play as. I'm assuming over time they will, add more, so then you can play as different Pokemon. Here are the 3 Kanto starters you have on the screen right now. But, I do think that that's kind of a longer-term upside to this game, is that you can learn how to play with a few characters, and over time, I'm assuming they're going to add more. They did say the game is free to play, which I think is an awesome idea on their part. Don't make people pay for this game, especially because it's totally outside of the normal Pokemon realm. And I think people are going to be skeptical. I mean, just based on the likes and the dislikes on the Pokemon Channel's YouTube video, I know a lot of people are not happy that this was announced. They were all hoping, again, for a Let's Go Johto or something like that. But given that this is free to play, I think everybody can give it a try, and my assumption is that if it is free to play, there will be either some sort of Battle Pass-like content, or you'll be able to buy new Pokemon to play as. I mean, there'll be some sort of microtransaction, which really, if you're the Pokemon Company, that's smart. I mean, anybody who wants to say they're selling out, they're money hungry, I mean, they have to run a company to pay for the development of, maybe a Let's Go Johto type game or a remake of one of the older games. So I don't have a problem with microtransactions. Since the game is free to play, you don't have to pay for them. So for me, doesn't bother me. You know, I'm more interested to see how the game plays and if it's fun to play. Initially, it looks like it could be enjoyable. I don't know though. We'll see. I've never been a multiplayer online battle arena type person. I've never really gotten into that type of game, but you know, I like Pokemon, so I'll definitely give this one a try. And really the last thing that I thought was exciting that they announced is that this is cross-platform, so it will be on mobile and it will be on the Switch, and you'll be able to play against, you know, all of those players. So for me, I think that's pretty cool that there should be a big audience that plays this, and you know, I know a lot of people aren't happy about it right now, but I do think that this game will have a good following and a lot of people that play it because the MOBA genre is definitely a very popular one, and Pokemon is such a like core franchise and character set for the video gaming world that I think a lot of people will give it a try just because it's Pokemon. So overall, I'm excited that they stepped into something new. I'm excited that they're trying something new. I hope it's fun. Obviously, I'm a little bit disappointed that, you know, there wasn't a new Let's Go game. But at the same time, you know, I just don't you know, how many times can you play the same type of storyline and not want something new? I hope that they're doing this game and then they're going to develop, you know, a much more in-depth, you know, traditional Pokemon game where maybe it has all the regions and all the Pokemon with all their regional forms in one game. And that could be released sometime next year, because I'm assuming that by announcing this, that means we're not getting a core Pokemon game this year. That's just an assumption. I don't, you know, I have nothing to back that up other than my gut. This would have seemed the time that they would have announced that, and well, they didn't. So I'm assuming that means we're not getting a new Pokemon game like Sword and Shield. Now, we do have more DLC coming out sometime in the fall, so when you start to think, okay, if the DLC is going to come out in November-ish, that's kind of the rumored time frame, then, you know, when would they drop a new game? With them announcing this game, it pretty much confirms that we're not going to get a new core game this year, but my hope for that is that, you know, for 2021, we'll actually get a game that maybe isn't developed by Game Freak, looks good, plays well, hopefully has some more depth to it, you know, than just the traditional choose your starter, defeat 8 gym leaders by walking down these routes that are essentially hallways, and then fight the Pokemon League, and then if you want, complete your Pokedex. So that's my thought. Hopefully they're working on something that has more depth to it than that for the core games, but we'll see. This is interesting. I'll definitely give it a try. They haven't announced any sort of release date. They just said, you know, they'll keep us updated, so I'm assuming it's going to be, my guess would be around the holidays is when this game will probably drop. That's my guess, but we'll see. With that, I would love to know in the comments, let me know your thoughts on the game. I'm assuming a lot of people are disappointed that this is what was announced, but if you would, please drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the game and the Pokemon Company's decision to go this route. And as always, if you all would please drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. That way you'll know when I post new videos. I would greatly appreciate that. And with that, I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks.